This channel is not going to be just fun science facts. I'm really interested in politics, and I'm really interested in how we can make our society better, so a lot of my ideas for videos are about that. Just thought I'd give you a heads up that this video isn't going to be a one-off thing in that regard. Anyway, there's already a whole bunch of videos about the gender pay gap. Some of them claim it doesn't really exist, and some of them claim it does. And yet, for the most part, they all agree on the basic facts. They just have very different starting assumptions, and frame things extremely differently. So here are the facts that everyone agrees on. The average woman who works full-time makes 77% of what the average man who works full-time makes. This is mostly due to the fact that men and women make very different career choices, with the careers that men go for tending to pay higher than the ones that women go for. There are a lot of other reasons too, but what I find most interesting is that this either proves or disproves the existence of a gender pay gap depending on how you frame it. Like, the gist of some of these videos is basically, the gender pay gap is really small when you take occupation and education into account. Yay! While the gist of other videos is, higher paying careers are mostly pursued by men, while lower paying careers are mostly pursued by women. Oh no! See the difference? Even though they're not really disagreeing about the facts, they're operating on very different unspoken assumptions. The unspoken assumption in these videos is that differences between men and women are mostly due to social conditioning, while the unspoken assumption in these videos is that differences between men and women are mostly due to biology. Each video focuses on different aspects of the issue and has a slightly different take on it, but I feel like, in general, that subtext is there.
And some of the pay gap can be found here. Like in one study of more than 120 professions, more women than men worked in 9 of the 10 lowest paying jobs. But of course, that isn't only about choice, it's also about the expectations of the social order. Like, why are there more female nurse anesthetists, but more male anesthesiologists?
In other words, our culture is pushing women into worse paid jobs.
But is it really social conditioning that explains women's vocational preferences and their special attachment to children? Perhaps in the pursuit of happiness, men and women take somewhat different paths.
In other words, women are biologically hardwired to prefer worse paid jobs. Part of me is confused that no one's tackled this head on, but part of me isn't surprised at all. Like, there's not a lot to talk about when you get down to these basic assumptions. I honestly don't know how much of the differences between men and women are biological and how much are cultural, and I think it's kind of impossible to know. Every feminist bone in my body is reacting against the fact that I'm saying that, but it's kind of where I stand right now. Another thing I don't know, which I haven't heard anyone else mention yet, is that cause and effect might be going the other direction. Like, it seems entirely possible to me that jobs traditionally done by women are underpaid because they're associated with women. Before you go, there's one piece of evidence I'd like to give for the idea that it's at least mostly cultural, and that's the fact that the gender pay gap is really different in different countries. Like, it's about 18% in the US, but only about 7% in New Zealand. So unless men and women are twice as different in the US as they are in New Zealand, I think it's safe to say that culture at least plays a really big part in the gender pay gap. After having made this video, I am still left with a lot of questions. Like, if our culture is pushing women into worse paying jobs, which is kind of what it looks like from my point of view, then I have no idea how to identify what parts of our culture are most responsible for that, let alone what to do about it. I don't know, you guys have any ideas? And while you're in the comments, does entertaining the idea that some behavioral differences between men and women have biological causes make me a bad feminist? Should I have my feminism membership revoked? I sure think so. Somebody help me!